All right, so $54 million emails. So this brand did 1.5 million the last 30 days. About 581,000 of those were from the kinds of emails I'm about to show you. However, you don't need to be making 1.5 million a month. If your brand makes at least $100,000 a month, I can make you an offer that guarantees a 3x profit return, not a revenue return, 3x profit return on working with me, or 10x revenue return if you want to think in revenue. If you just want that, skip to the last 30 seconds or click the link in the description. Otherwise, we'll get right into the content. So here are my goals for this video. So I want to go over 4 things. So first, why is email still the #1 most powerful channel for converting cold traffic into lifetime customers, word of mouth, and more? So despite the fact that it's boring, it's not as glamorous and fast-paced as other channels, that's actually a good thing. So my four rules of $400 million emails. So looking at all the emails across the board, the 4 things that most of them have in common that allows any brand to charge more than their competitors, still outselling them. So doing email marketing well means you don't compete on price and you don't destroy your margins. So number 3, I'll give you proven email ideas that fit this framework that you can start using consistently to sell your products without relying on constant discounts or constantly launching new products starting today, and some bonus tips along the way that I couldn't resist adding in. So the more I do this, the more I think of like random edge cases and exceptions that I was just like, might as well throw those in. So who am I, right? So I am big on copywriting, email marketing, online business. So $54 million generated in online sales, almost exclusively through email. Founder of an email marketing agency. So we work with brands, again, that make at least $100,000 a month. If that's you, I can run your emails better than anyone else. Co-founder of an e-commerce brand myself, which is how I know what I'm doing. So Future Forges Academy, I'm no longer involved. I've exited. I still own 2%. So it's e-commerce brand I started and exited. They're still in business and scaling today. It's not just something that flopped and I had to get out and do something else. So, but that's how I discovered how to run your marketing in a way that makes big name competitors irrelevant. So the kind of things you learn from starting a brand from scratch, not from like getting an email marketing job at The Gap, for example, right? So that's not what we're looking for. So that's me. So why email? So it's old, it's glamorous. There's Apple's privacy updates that make it harder. You're competing against brands with bigger email lists. All that's true. And yet, so the first email marketing was sent in 1971. Email marketing as we know it has been around since the 90s and still going strong. So think about something that worked on TikTok last week that no longer works today, or something about the Facebook algorithm changed and now your Instagram ads are toast. Email, you don't have that issue. You can reach anyone you want to in seconds without being at the mercy of an algorithm. They only see what you put in the email and they get what they clicked for, right? So you aren't an annoying ad. So with YouTube or with Facebook, they're looking for they're scrolling their friends, the influencers they follow, and you're kind of something that's like getting in the way of that. With email, they're opening their inbox and they're clicking on your email, wanting to hear what you want to say. So the entire frame of mind that they enter with is completely different. The reach is essentially free. And you can stay in touch for years to come. It just works, right? It's as much table stakes at this point as having a website. It's like if you have a brand, you have to have a website, you have to have an email list, you have to have your email automations in place, and you have to be sending email campaigns. It's just the bare minimum. Okay, so $54 million questions. How do you create emails that customers look forward to clicking on over and over, right? So once you figure this out, the rest is just math. So when in aggregate, you have a list of a certain size, some percentage of that list will click onto the email. Some percentage of the people that click on the email will click onto the product page. Some percentage of those will add the item to cart. Some percentage of those will reach checkout. Some percentage of those will then place an order. So once you've cracked the code on how to design these emails, the rest is just math. Okay, so let's do a comparison here. Compare the 2 emails that I'm about to show you and ask yourself the following. So which of these are you more likely to stop and consume? Which of these feels like it's coming from within a tribe? Which of these are more likely to create a bond? And which of these are you more likely to benefit from, even if you don't make a purchase, right? So I'm going to show you 2 emails here. This one literally looks like a flyer that I would get in the mail, and you kind of like, we're just trained to like gloss over this, right? Like we don't, like 25% off, random products worn by random people, not at all explaining what the products are, not saying why we should care, why did the brand make these. This is clearly an email coming from a company that has like 200 to 500 employees, and someone who kind of learned how to put this together did it, and there's just no personal connection to this, right? And obviously I asked these as a loaded question, making it obvious that And then on the other side here, we have a email that's coming from a brand that says, the best new launches of 2025 are most loved, most requested, and most purchased launches of the year. Actually acknowledging what the products are instead of just saying like, here's some random stuff that you might be interested in, maybe click and just go spend your money. So actually acknowledging what the products are, acknowledging the fact that you guys loved it, that it was requested, most purchased. So it was a big year for the brand, new designs, new colors, new ways to bring calm, clarity, and beauty. So why we launched these products is being explained. The ones that sold out, got restocked, and became instant customer favorites. So telling stories around the products, actually walking through each of the products and explaining what it means to us and what it should mean to you as the market. Look how much like soul there is in an email like this compared to this, right? Again, like this is something you get in your mail, you don't even remember you saw it. If I asked you, like, did you see an email from the brand Everlane? You wouldn't even remember, right? So what does it take to start making emails like this? And again, we're closing with a small blurb from the brand, a couple final CTAs, and an actual testimonial from a real customer. They didn't even at least have a testimonial. That's like the easiest thing to do. Why don't they at least even have that? It's kind of crazy. So I hope you're getting by now that the market's open for you. If you know how to do this right, it's very easy to compete with the bigger brands just by definition. Like they can get away with doing this, to be fair, but if you know what you're doing, you can actually compete with them in the inbox. Okay, so if you've never thought about this before, your eyes are now open. You'll never look at email marketing the same again. So email is not just a marketing channel, it's building two-way relationships at scale. So if you're building a new cookie company, for example, think the only way to compete with all of the multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar cookie companies is to go door-to-door with fresh-baked cookies and build those relationships one-on-one, right? That's impossible to scale, except with email. With email, you're basically doing that. So this is the type of emails that I build for my clients, for my agency, and it's what I'm showing how to create in this video. So compare a brand that sends a flyer to your house versus a brand where like the owner is like knocking on your door and actually like building a relationship with you. So that's a difference we're going for here in the feel of your emails. So let's go through the 4 rules I discovered. Rule number 1, talk to one person, not hey everyone. Okay, so you don't literally have to say their name, even though the example I'm going to show you is that. I'm just going for the most extremely salient version of this rule, but you don't literally have to say, hey, Brian, right? So it's just when Brian gets the email, he can tell that it's for him personally. He doesn't literally have to say his name. So here's an example of this. So this is a risk reversal upgrade with urgency for a supplement brand. So we've got, it makes it even easier. So again, I'm showing you an extreme example of this where you're talking to, it's almost like a letter to one person from one person. This brand is run by an influencer. So this makes it really easier to do, to be fair. So you have the person looking right at you. We have, hey, first name. We're literally talking one-on-one to them, and we're upgrading their. So by the way, this is a hack if you have a supplement company or any company that sells a consumable product that delivers a transformation, and you probably have a guarantee anyway. That's like table stakes. But the problem with that guarantee is there's no urgency to it. Like you always know you have that guarantee. So what you can do is a single day risk reversal guarantee upgrade. So this one day we've sent this email, the results were pretty sweet. So we were just reiterating the usual guarantee, but we're saying for today only, so urgency, we are upgrading it. So a full refund as always, plus a $20 gift card if you're not happy, plus you keep the supplements, you don't have to send them back, and plus you keep all the bonuses that normally come with the supplement. So it's like, not only are you gonna get your money back if it doesn't work for you, you get to keep the supplements, and we're gonna give you a $20 gift card for the brand. So, and then we're going into how it's undeniable. We're delivering the social proof, again, more personalized copy, closing with social proof, using a timer to display the urgency here, and showing them one final CTA and closing with a personal message from the founder. Okay, so, all right, so another rule is focus on communicating one thing that makes them want to click. So it's easy to get carried away with every single email. You want to say so many things about your product because you know so much about your product, but that's overwhelming to a customer. All we want is to focus on one thing that makes them want to click. So you can still have lots of stuff in your emails. You can have long testimonials. You can have lots of images, but don't deliver everything that they want to know in the email, right? So a lot of times you just want them to click onto the product page. Now they're on your web page, and if you've done your CRO properly, the web page does the rest of the work. So one way to do this is, again, extreme examples. There's ways to do this for your average email, but I'm going to go show you the extreme examples to make it super obvious what I'm talking about. So here's like a launch email with curiosity. So this is for a red light therapy brand. They launched this massage gun that combines red light therapy with the typical massage gun technology. And we explained how there's a new launch. And to even see the device, they have to reveal. So obviously it's kind of obvious what it is, but it creates enough curiosity where like you can't help but click on the product. So to tap to reveal our latest device. Everyone's been asking for it, so we delivered, and we have it blurred out with a question mark here, and it's available for pre-order. Plus, first 100 customers get $100 off. So that would be urgency and scarcity, right? So urgency is about a limited amount of something, so you only have 100, that's $100 off. And there's scarcity, which is a scarcity is a limited amount of something. Urgency is time related. So if the first 100 people, once they do it, it's out. So you have to be fast to get it. So urgency and scarcity, high urgency or scarcity in all emails. If you can have both, this is a perfect opportunity to do so. Okay, so number 3, let's make claims that are indisputable. So an example of this is from a new subscriber onboarding email from another supplement brand. This is a nootropics brand, mushroom nootropics. So once someone subscribes to like a monthly auto ship of the supplement, we send them this email with long testimonials. So when someone makes a decision, like a purchasing decision, the emotions are high. If someone makes a purchase that's a subscription, that's even more of a commitment. So this is the time where they really want to feel like they made the right decision. So what do we mean by making claims that are indisputable? When we look at these other testimonials, we're talking about what it has done for other people, right? So I can't argue with Victoria saying, when she says, I used to deal with anxiety, but I feel more at ease now, I can't be like, that is incorrect, because someone said this. I can't dispute with it. If we say, you will get this result, you will gonna gain an enormous amount of energy. If we're making all these you claims, then we're setting us up for failure. Because if someone happens to not get exactly what we say will happen, they're gonna think it's a bad product, right? Whereas this case, if they don't get the results that they were expecting, they're more likely to approach it with curiosity. They're like, maybe I didn't have the right expectations. Let me check some of these emails again. So all these claims we're making are indisputable. So these testimonials, for sure, 25% off for life, again, that's indisputable. That they do get that. Guaranteed inventory, they do get that. Priority access, free gifts and perks, all of those, they do get. We've not made a single claim that's disputable in this entire email. And that's how you want to treat all your emails, especially for these kind of subscriber onboarding emails, post-purchase thank you emails, those kind of things. Make indisputable claims. So you're now part of a 300,000 plus community bettering their lives with Mojo. That's an indisputable claim as well. We do have 300,000 customers and they are bettering their lives, and you've joined that community. Again, indisputable claims. That's what we want to be making. Number 4, so lean into spontaneity and personality. So again, this is another way to just outperform these brands sending boring emails like this. Just have personality. You get your founders involved, get the create like a community feel around it. Just have fun with stuff. So here's like a B2B tech company, which like you would never think there's an opportunity to be funny or like have personality in that, right? So they sell these things that these local businesses have, where you tap your phone and leave a Google review. You've probably seen these if you've like walked into some kind of restaurant or mechanic that has them. So this is like a typical example of like a boring brand, and we were able to use this meme that was trending at the time, and we're saying this is what you look like when you beg for reviews without our review stand, this Appy Cards review stand. So we're hitting on a pain point where like everyone feels awkward asking for a review, and we're like really agitating that by saying this is what you look like when you ask for a review. Doesn't have to be that way if you get our stand, and we're like really twisting the knife on that pain point. There is your one and only solution. Social proof CTA, social proof CTA. This is the difference. Shop now. Yes, it seriously works. Risk reversal. If you don't double your reviews in 90 days, we will refund you. So that's how you nail point 4. So lean into spontaneity. Just have a fun personality with your brand. It makes everything perform much better. The results are really sweet. So let's summarize the 4 points. So these are the 4 rules I discovered to create $54 million emails. Talk to one person, not hey everyone. Again, you don't have to literally say hey Brian. You just have to make it so that if one person opens the email, they can tell it was written just for them. Focus on communicating one thing that makes them want to click. I know you have a million things you want to say in every single email. Just resist that urge and just make your entire email. There could be a lot of stuff in the email, but make it all funneling into the one thing that makes them want to click and enter your webpage. Make claims that are indisputable. Otherwise, as soon as you make a claim that's disputable, you're doing a high wire act that's just, you might as well not do, right? It's an uphill battle. I would rather just make money in ways that is not an uphill battle. So make the claims, make all your claims indisputable. Be spontaneous and don't be afraid of having a personality. So do you ever break these rules? Yeah, all the time, right? So, but you want to be breaking them in a specific way. So there's like a quote from the Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist that I really like. It's about something completely different, but it like applies. So you learn the rules so that you break them with finesse. I'd rather break rules because I have an interesting way of breaking the rules rather than break them because I don't know what I'm doing. So now that you know the rules, you can find interesting ways of breaking them, right? But if you were just not following the rules because you didn't know about them, the emails probably weren't that good, right? So bonus rule, the one I never break, play the long game. So analyze in increments of 100 emails. So a lot of times you're doing the right thing, but you are very short-sighted and you're kind of like looking at the last 3 emails. You're like, oh, why did this one outperform that one? What should we change about this one? That's just you're thinking way too small. There's just not enough data there. Send 100 emails. If you're watching this video, your volume, the amount of emails you're sending is probably your bottleneck. You could probably send 100 emails and by then it'll be a lot more clear what the top 10 are, and you can look for patterns in the top 10 emails out of 100 emails. A lot of times when you're analyzing too early, it's a distraction from doing the main thing, which is just send the emails, okay? So more examples. Let's think of 3 possible scenarios. So let's say we need to introduce a new product, we need to keep talking about existing products, and we need to get buyers to keep buying your products. Okay, so new products, we already showed this example, so I'm not going to rehash it. But other things you can do is you can tease it before it's ready. So this is an email that's when it was ready for pre-order, we sent it, but like sending out like single, even like plain text emails teasing that something's going up, letting them know what date to check their email. A lot of people literally will set reminders. Giving VIPs priority access. So VIPs are just defined as your top 10 customers. So in Klaviyo, you set a segment where you find out your average customer spend, calculate what the top 10% of that is, and then create a segment that's the top percent, and then let them know they're VIP. That's all stuff you do in your flows. That's not what I'm talking about in this email. But once you have a VIP segment, just letting them know when products are coming up in advance, they're gonna be more likely to buy just because they feel like they have exclusive access to it. Okay, so let's talk about existing bestsellers. So this one is not a client of mine. It's an example from Raw Optics. So I don't want to be the channel that just posts videos talking about what other brands are doing, but I think a couple, maybe 1 or 2 in each video, I'll do that just to mix things up. Unless otherwise stated, all the emails are clients of mine and I'm seeing behind the scenes that it's actually working. It's not just conjecture. But this is an example I really like, so I thought I would include it. So learn how to find hooks. You can say the same thing 100 times by coming up with 100 hooks. You can then say the same thing 10,000 times by finding 100 different ways to say each of those hooks. So this is a muscle you build. The more you do it, the better you get at it, right? And if you're lurking other brands' emails, you're always building from abundance. If you're sitting if you're about to do your email marketing and you're sitting at your computer and you're like, okay, what should I send? You've already approached it wrong. Like you should never be starting from like a blank page. You should be doing it from abundance. You should feel like, I have more ideas than I could possibly send this month. I have to narrow it down to 12. If you're not thinking that way, you're probably not going to make good emails. So again, that's a muscle you build. The only way to get there is if you're kind of doing it all day, every day, and you genuinely enjoy it. So here's like an example I found of this, finding different ways to say the same things. So here's 4 signs someone's been wearing Raw Optics. So straight away, one of the reasons I like this is that's an indisputable claim, right? You're talking about someone else. So they're not saying this is what's going to happen to you, which would be a disputable claim. They're talking about someone else. And all they've done here is they've taken the normal benefits that's probably listed on the product page, and they've just positioned it as like, here's this mysterious stranger that's wearing our product, and this is what you'll notice about that random stranger, right? So they don't need caffeine to be locked in, no espresso ritual, no pre-workout dependency. So again, this is just benefits that you could otherwise find on their product page, and they found a clever way of packaging it. This just looks weird because it was a GIF when I screenshotted it, and then really good CTA at the end. This is like a solid email. The only thing I would do is have like a testimonial at the end of it, but they have this that I assume you can click and see them. That's like the one thing I can think of, but other than that, I feel like this is a flawless email. And maybe a CTA up here as well, but again, that's nitpicking. Like this is a really good email. Okay, so let's talk about another thing you can do. So now you reward customers that talk about your product. So you probably get, if you're at a certain level, you'll start getting tags on Instagram. You'll start getting mentioned elsewhere on the internet. You'll at least get reviews, right? If you have a good review app and you're requesting reviews. So reward those customers who talk about your product. You don't have to give them anything, just by featuring them. That makes people feel good. And that creates a flywheel of free UGC because people see that and it motivates them to, it motivates the same people to post more. We've seen that. And it motivates other people to start flooding in your Instagram with UGC. So like once we started sending content like this where we just showed, so here's like a brand that sells these organization products and we feature what their customers are tagging them on Instagram. Once we started doing this, more people started tagging them on Instagram, and then it just creates free content. Like content is something you'd otherwise pay like hundreds or thousands of dollars for, right? So you just get it for free by incorporating your email strategy. Here's another example from a supplement brand. Video testimonial from someone explaining their results, and we kind of like quote it, had some commentary, add some conversion mechanisms, and no testimonial at the end because social proof is kind of like built into this one. Like this is the social proof. So that's that email there, and the results are pretty sweet. We actually added this to the welcome flow, which is why we have this take 20% off your first order right up there. Okay. The other thing you need to do is you need to get buyers to keep buying. So the old way, when someone buys, all you're doing is like sending, here's how to track your order. The new way is to use this window of opportunity to bombard them with content that makes them excited for your product to arrive. So if you think about when you order like a product from the internet, the one time you're checking your inboxes looking for that brand specifically is right after you place an order. So we want to be making the most of that. We don't want to like go silent or just send something boring like here's how to track your order during this time, right? So here's these while you wait content. So while you wait, this is your perfect time to get up to speed on everything you need to know about mushroom gummies, the ultimate guide. So here's like this is kind of like a magnum opus for that brand that they can kind of like tap and read up on. And then while you wait, so these are all like validated. These are like their blog posts that get the most traffic. So these, I think this one sends 4 hours after the purchase, 8 hours after the purchase, and 12 hours after the purchase. This is when they're like, get the dopamine hit just from seeing your brand's name on your email. So the while you wait content is the main point of this, but we also have like custom thank you messages depending on whether it's their first order or a second time order. And then right after we have an email that just gets them to reply, ask them if they had any issues with their order. And as a bonus benefit of that, when someone replies to your email, that's really good for your deliverability. So when Gmail or whatever sees that someone's literally replying to the emails, they treat that as like a valuable email. And it sends to all other recipients that way as well. So you're less likely to land in spam and you're less likely to land in promotions. Okay, so the content marketers really understand this. So the first example I thought of is Dave Ramsey. So from what I understand, he just gives like money advice to people, and his main things are just like spend less than you make, get out of debt, and save your money. So it's like obvious things, and you'd think like what could he possibly be saying that people don't already know? And yet he's posting videos every single day, 2 hours and 6 minutes, and 3.5K videos, million subscribers. So you could have a better process, better product than, the Ramsey company. But the problem is you're not bombarding them with content like this, right? Now, again, you have to find a clever way of doing this when you're doing it with emails. You don't just want to bombard your list. You want to bombard the people that want to be bombarded, which is like right after they made a purchase, and add a cadence that makes sense for people that didn't purchase. Is usually like 3 to 4 times a week. But someone could have a better product than this, but they just won't be as successful if they're not indoctrinating their audience. So someone who's like, I can imagine someone who hasn't yet bought from the Ramsey company that's already consumed like 20 hours of content. And then as soon as in their mind, they made the decision, I need to like get help with this, there's no way they would think of anyone other than Dave Ramsey. So that's what the content marketers get. And that's how you kind of like combine that with your emails. So with emails, I know a lot of people are like, oh, just try to like convert. Don't worry about like content. Don't worry about value. But like you want to be sending emails where like they feel like they've gotten something out of the emails, even if they don't make a purchase. Because that's going to be most of the people. Most people aren't even going to open the email. The people that open the email, most of them are not going to buy at that time. So if you're not sending emails where everyone's happy, even if it's not the right time to buy, you have no long-term strategy. And that's what we want to do with your email marketing. So thanks a lot for watching this. Again, if you've got an e-commerce brand doing at least $100,000 a month, I'll run your emails better than everyone else. Book a call to get started. Links in the description.